July 22, 1943. The phone rang in London. Winston Churchill picked up the receiver himself. On the other end, a staff officer delivered 4 words that changed everything. Palermo had fallen overnight. Churchill paused. The room fell silent. Aides stopped moving. Maps lay open on the table. Red lines showed expected positions. Blue lines showed reality. Patton had done it. The city everyone thought would take weeks had surrendered in days. Churchill set the receiver down slowly. His eyes fixed on the map. Palermo, the key port, the western anchor, now in American hands. He had expected resistance, prolonged fighting, Italian troops backed by German reserves, terrain that favored defenders, supply lines stretched thin. Instead, Patton struck fast. Patton struck hard. Patton struck without waiting for perfect conditions. The news spread quickly through the war room. Officers exchanged glances. Some smiled, others frowned. Churchill remained quiet. He knew the stakes. Sicily had to fall quickly. Delay meant German reinforcements. Delay meant lost momentum. Delay meant political pressure from Stalin for a second front. Palermo's capture opened the door. It threatened the entire Axis position on the island. It outpaced Montgomery's methodical advance in the east. Churchill leaned back in his chair. His mind raced through the implications. Patton had taken a risk, huge risk. He had convinced Allied command to let him drive west. He had ignored caution. He had moved before full coordination. And he had won. Churchill remembered the debates. British planners wanted caution, steady pressure, avoid overextension. American commanders split. Some supported Pat. Others feared his boldness would fail. Churchill had backed the plan, not fully, not enthusiastically, but enough. He knew Patton's record in North Africa. He knew the man's reputation for speed, for aggression, for results. Still, the speed of this advance surprised even him. Palermo, captured. Italian garrison surrendered almost without fight. German units caught off guard. Tanks rolling through streets before defenders organized. Civilians watching in confusion. Soldiers raising white flags, all in hours. The Prime Minister turned to his aides. His voice stayed low, measured. "Gentlemen," he said, "General Patton has taken Palermo." The words hung in the air, no cheers, no celebration, just acknowledgement. One aide asked for confirmation. Churchill nodded. The report was clear. Third Army units entered the city at dawn. Resistance collapsed. Port facilities intact. Supplies captured. Strategic positions secured. Churchill picked up a pencil. He marked the map. A new blue arrow pointed west. The balance shifted. He thought back to the planning sessions. Patton had argued for the strike. He had promised speed. He had said time was the enemy. Delay would allow Germans to reinforce. Delay would cost lives. Delay would prolong the war. British officers resisted. Montgomery needed time in the east. Coordination mattered. Risk of isolation too high. Patton insisted. His eyes burned with certainty. His voice carried conviction. Churchill listened. He saw the logic. He approved the move. Now the results stared back from the map. Success, decisive success, faster than anyone predicted. Churchill's private secretary entered the room. He carried fresh reports, casualties low, enemy prisoners many, port operational, road to Messina open. The secretary placed the papers on the table. Churchill scanned them quickly. His expression changed little, but his aides noticed the slight relaxation in his shoulders. Tension eased, just a fraction. The Prime Minister spoke again. "Inform the King," he said. "Inform Washington." His tone remained calm. Inside, thoughts swirled. Patton had delivered. Again, the man frustrated him. The slapping incident, the press conferences, the theatrical manner, but results spoke louder. Results changed maps. Results won wars. The room buzzed quietly. Telephones rang again. Messages drafted. Congratulations prepared. Churchill lit a cigar. He puffed slowly. Smoke curled toward the ceiling. His mind turned to the next phase, Messina, the Strait, Italy itself. Patton's success created options. It forced German withdrawal. It shortened the campaign. It saved lives. British troops would benefit. Montgomery would advance faster. The alliance strengthened. Churchill exhaled. He looked at the map once more. Palermo marked in blue. A turning point, small on paper, huge in reality. He recalled his earlier doubts. Patton seemed reckless, too American, too eager for glory, but glory came from victory. Victory came from action. Patton acted, others planned. Patton executed, the difference showed on the map. Churchill set the cigar down. He leaned forward. His voice carried authority. "Gentlemen," he said, "we must capitalize on this." The room focused. Orders issued. Plans adjusted. Momentum seized. Later that evening, Churchill dictated a message, personal, direct to Patton. The words came carefully, praise tempered with reminder, admiration mixed with caution. "Well done," he wrote. "Your capture of Palermo is brilliant." He paused. He added more. "Continue the pressure." The message sent. The Prime Minister sat back. He knew the truth. Patton had changed the campaign. Patton had proven his method. Patton had earned respect. Grudging respect. Hard-earned respect. The war room lights burned late. Maps updated. Lines redrawn. Plans revised. Palermo's fall echoed through Allied command. It echoed through history. Churchill watched. He waited. He knew more battles lay ahead, more decisions, more risks. But for now, one truth stood clear. George S. Patton had captured Palermo against all odds. He had delivered when others doubted. He had shown what aggressive leadership could achieve. And in that achievement, Churchill saw the path forward. Victory required boldness. Victory required men like Patton. The Prime Minister stood. He walked to the window. London lay dark outside. Blackout curtains drawn, city quiet, but in Sicily tanks rolled, soldiers advanced. Victory neared. Churchill turned back to the room, his voice steady. "Prepare the next phase," he said. The aides nodded. The work continued. Palermo changed everything. Patton changed everything. The war moved forward. July 10, 1943. Allied forces landed on Sicily. Operation Husky began. The plan called for quick victory. Capture the island in weeks. Open the door to Italy, but progress slowed immediately. Beaches secured, troops ashore. Then resistance stiffened. German divisions rushed in. Italian troops fought harder than expected. Terrain favored defenders. Mountains, narrow roads, heat, dust. Supply lines stretched. Ammunition short. Water scarce. Soldiers exhausted. Casualties mounted. Reports arrived daily. Gains measured in yards, not miles. Palermo remained distant. The port city held firm, its capture essential. Control western Sicily. Threaten Axis flank. Shorten the campaign, but days passed, weeks threatened, doubt grew. Churchill watched from London. Pressure built. Stalin demanded action. Second front now, Italy must fall. Sicily the key, delay unacceptable. British forces under Montgomery advanced east, steady, methodical, careful, good progress but slow. American forces west. 7th Army, Patton in command. Initial role support, protect flank. Allow Montgomery main effort. Patton accepted. Reluctantly, he saw opportunity. Western Sicily open. Italian morale low. German forces thin. Strike fast, take Palermo, turn the campaign, he argued, he persuaded. Command approved limited advance. Risky, isolated, supply difficult, but Patton insisted. Speed the weapon, surprise the advantage, hesitation the enemy. The stakes rose daily. Failure meant disaster, prolonged fight. Heavy losses, German reinforcement, campaign bogged down, political cost high, alliance strained. Churchill knew, he backed the plan, he trusted American fighting spirit, but doubt lingered. Patton's reputation preceded him. Brilliant, aggressive, unconventional, controversial, slapping incident fresh, press criticism sharp. British officers skeptical, too bold, too risky, too American. Montgomery preferred caution, coordination. Overwhelming force. Patton preferred action. Immediate action, decisive action, the contrast clear, the tension real. On the ground, desperation grew. Soldiers fought in heat. Uniforms soaked, boots blistered, weapons jammed with dust, water rationed, food short, medical supplies limited, wounded waited, evacuation slow, German artillery accurate, counterattacks fierce. Italian troops surrendered often, but Germans fought hard, positions fortified, mines everywhere, roads blocked, bridges destroyed, advance halted, regiments pinned, companies isolated, radios crackled with urgent calls, reinforcements needed. Ammunition low, morale strained, commanders reported nightly. Situation critical, Palermo still distant, time running out. Churchill read the reports. His jaw clenched, tension thick in London. Aides worried, Prime Minister silent. He knew the cost of delay. He knew the need for breakthrough. He knew Patton carried the hope. The man frustrated allies. The man demanded resources. The man promised results. Now results needed. Palermo must fall. The city must open. The port must function. The road to Messina must clear. Failure not option. Victory essential. The campaign hung in balance. The war in Mediterranean hung in balance. The alliance hung in balance. Patton felt the pressure. He paced headquarters. Maps covered walls. Aides worked late. Plans revised. Orders issued. Troops moved. Risk accepted. Speed demanded. No pause, no retreat. Advance, always advance. Soldiers responded. They trusted him. They followed him. They fought for him. Exhaustion ignored. Danger accepted. Mission clear. Palermo the goal. Victory the promise. The stakes never higher. The desperation never greater. Sicily waited. History waited. Churchill waited. The world waited. Patton would deliver or fail spectacularly. The crisis deepened. The moment approached. The impossible loomed. July 15, 1943. Patton received approval, limited, conditional. He wasted no time. Orders issued immediately. Troops moved west. Columns formed. Tanks rolled. Jeeps followed. Infantry marched. Dust rose. Heat beat down. Roads narrow. Bridges guarded. But Patton pushed. No pause, no delay. Daily reports reached London. Progress steady. Faster than expected. Churchill read them. His brow furrowed. British aides commented. Too fast, one said. Risky, another added. Doubt lingered. Coordination with Montgomery essential. Isolation dangerous. Supply lines vulnerable. German counterattack possible. Patton ignored warnings. He knew time critical. Delay fatal. July 16, 1943. First contact. Italian outposts encountered. Resistance light. Surrenders quick. Prisoners many. Weapons captured. Morale boosted. Patton pressed on. Night marches ordered. Soldiers tired. Feet blistered. But orders clear. Advance. Always advance. Reports continued. Villages taken. Roads cleared. Enemy retreating. Churchill received updates. Surprise evident. Expected weeks. Now days. His aides discussed. Patton exploiting Italian weakness, one noted. Germans thin in west, another agreed. Doubt eased slightly, but caution remained. Montgomery advancing east, slower, steady, safe, contrast sharp, British preference clear. July 17, 1943. Terrain worsened, hills steep, roads winding, ambushes possible. Patton adjusted, flanks secured, scouts sent, speed maintained. Italian units collapsed. White flags appeared, entire battalions surrendered, German reserves shifted, too late, too slow, reports to London accelerated. Rapid gains, cables read. Enemy disorganized, Churchill studied maps. New lines drawn, Palermo closer, pressure on Axis flank growing. His private thoughts turned. Patton proving right, boldness working, risk paying off but frustration mixed, uncoordinated, unconventional, American style. British style different, tension between allies real. July 18, 1943. Breakthrough, Keytown taken, port small but useful, supplies landed, fuel arrived, ammunition stocked, momentum built, Patton's headquarters buzzed, aides worked non-stop, plans updated, orders refined, soldiers responded, fatigue ignored, victory near, reports to London detailed. Significant advance, one said. Palermo threatened, another added. Churchill met advisors, discussion heated, praise reluctant. Effective, Churchill admitted, but reckless. Doubt persisted. What if counterattack? What if overextension? What if failure? Private letters written, caution urged, coordination demanded. Patton read them, ignored them, pushed harder. July 19, 1943. Resistance stiffened. German units arrived, fighting intensified, casualties rose, positions held, Patton reinforced, flanks protected, advance continued, night operations, surprise attacks, enemy confused, retreat began, reports urgent. Enemy withdrawing, cables stated, Palermo exposed, Churchill paced, cigar smoked, thoughts swirled, Patton succeeding, against advice, against plan, against odds, admiration grew, grudging, reluctant, but real. Aides noticed, comments changed, bold move working, speed decisive, doubt faded, shock took place. July 20, 1943. Final push prepared, troops positioned, artillery placed, tanks fueled, orders final, no retreat, victory or nothing. Patton confident, soldiers ready, reports last. Outskirts reached. Defenses probed. London waited, tension peaked, Churchill silent, map watched, clock ticked, private message drafted, praise prepared, caution included, Patton's way winning, for now. The advance built day by day. Doubt turned to recognition. Step by step, report by report, Patton delivered, against all odds, against all advice. The tension mounted. The moment neared, Palermo waited, Churchill waited, history waited. July 22, 1943. The phone rang again in London. This time confirmation, direct report, Patton's forces entered Palermo, resistance collapsed, city secured, Churchill listened. The officer spoke clearly, details precise, tanks in streets. Italian garrison surrendered, port intact, prisoners taken, casualties minimal. The line went quiet, Churchill held the receiver, his aides watched. The room stayed silent, no cheers, no movement, just the weight of the news. Churchill placed the receiver down, his hand steady. His eyes returned to the map. Palermo marked, blue ink fresh. The advance complete, against all odds, against all plans. Patton delivered. The Prime Minister leaned back. Tension released slowly. Shoulders eased, face softened, just a fraction. Aides noticed. One stepped forward. "Sir?" Churchill raised a hand. Silence held. He processed the moment. Relief came first. Quiet relief. The campaign saved, momentum gained, Sicily turning. Then admiration. Grudging at first, Patton's boldness worked, speed triumphed, caution defeated. Churchill spoke finally, voice low, measured. "General Patton has taken Palermo." The words simple, the meaning deep. Aides nodded, reports passed, maps updated, but Churchill continued. "He has done what many thought impossible." Pause. "The man moves with extraordinary energy." His tone carried respect, real respect. The aides listened. They knew the history, British doubts, American risks, alliance strains. Now resolved for now. Churchill stood, he walked to the map. Finger traced the new line from landing beaches to Palermo, short time, decisive gain. He turned to his staff. "This changes everything," voice firm. "The enemy flank exposed, Montgomery can advance, Messina threatened." Excitement subtle, controlled, but present. One aide asked, "Your message to Patton, sir?" Churchill paused, thoughts formed, praise needed, caution too. The man brilliant, the man difficult, balance required. He dictated slowly. "Congratulations on the capture of Palermo." Pause. "A brilliant achievement." Another pause. "Continue the pressure." The words chosen carefully, admiration clear, frustration implied. Patton's way worked, but boundaries existed, alliance mattered, coordination essential. Churchill signed the message, it sent, the room relaxed, cigars lit, conversation began. "Patton has outdone expectations," one said. "His speed decisive," another added. Churchill listened. He nodded. Inside, thoughts swirled. Relief dominant, the crisis past, victory nearer. But shock remained. Patton defied plans, Patton ignored caution, Patton succeeded, the contrast sharp, British method steady, American method bold, both needed. Churchill recognized, he spoke again. "We must support this momentum." Orders issued, resources allocated, plans adjusted, the capture not just military, political too. Stalin informed. Roosevelt congratulated, alliance strengthened. Churchill sat, he reflected quietly. Patton frustrated him. Often the theatrics, the independence. But results undeniable. Palermo proved it. The climax arrived with the news. The reaction measured, the words deliberate. Churchill's response revealed complexity, admiration for genius, frustration with method, relief at success, shock at speed. The moment defined. The campaign turned. Patton delivered the miracle, against all odds. The room knew, history knew, Churchill knew. The capture of Palermo changed the Sicily Campaign. Overnight success became weeks of advantage. German forces withdrew east. Reinforcements rushed too late. Italian morale collapsed completely. Surrenders increased. Entire units laid down arms. The port worked immediately. Supplies flowed. Troops reinforced. Montgomery advanced faster. His methodical plan benefited. Patton's boldness opened the way. Messina fell sooner. The island secured in 38 days, not months. The Mediterranean opened. Italy invaded next. The soft underbelly exposed. Axis alliance cracked. Mussolini fell weeks later. Italy surrendered in September. The road to Rome began. Churchill reflected privately. Letters to colleagues revealed complexity. Public statements praised the victory. A brilliant achievement by American arms, he said. Press releases highlighted Allied cooperation. Private notes told more. To close aide, he wrote, Patton has justified my confidence, though his methods remain unorthodox. To another, the speed astonished us all. Frustration lingered. Patton's independence strained coordination. His public comments risked alliance unity. But results silenced critics. Churchill admitted in correspondence, we needed his aggression. The Prime Minister recognized the balance. Caution preserved forces. Boldness won wars. Patton provided the latter. Memoirs later confirmed the depth. In his war writings, Churchill devoted pages to Sicily. The capture of Palermo by General Patton's forces marked a turning point, he noted. Executed with extraordinary rapidity against considerable obstacles. He described the risk, the reward, the relief. Post-war interrogations of German commanders echoed the impact. Kesselring admitted, Patton's western thrust disrupted our entire plan. Italian officers spoke of demoralization. When Palermo fell so quickly, resistance ended. The victory shortened the campaign, saved lives, advanced the war timeline. Churchill's final assessment came years later. In private conversations, he called Patton indispensable yet difficult. Publicly, he praised the American contribution. The capture of Palermo stood as example. Bold leadership delivered when caution stalled. Initiative triumphed over hesitation. Speed defeated preparation. The lesson clear. Great commanders take risks. Great leaders accept them. Patton embodied both. His drive through Sicily proved it, against all odds, against doubt, against convention. The story of Palermo reveals timeless truth. Genius thrives under pressure. Impossible yields to will. Patton refused defeat. He saw opportunity where others saw danger. He acted where others planned. He won where others waited. Churchill recognized this. Reluctantly at first, fully in time. The Prime Minister learned. The alliance benefited. The war progressed. Leadership demands courage, demands vision, demands action. Patton provided all three. His capture of Palermo against all odds stands as testament. A moment when one man's determination changed history's course, when audacity proved superior to calculation, when unstoppable force met immovable object and prevailed. If this story of bold leadership and dramatic victory inspired you, subscribe to the channel for more untold moments from World War II. Like and share this video with fellow history enthusiasts. Comment below, what bold decision in war most impresses you?